So unfortunately, the game crashed, but sometimes there's a silver lining. Um, and in it crashing, actually, was just an even faster way to do what I was doing. So here's our runway, and it's okay. We lost the tunnels and things, but this was only meant to inform people. It wasn't really meant to, be saved. But instead of extracting the stairs 4 tiles at a time, I'm actually going one, one, two, one, and then I don't have to bother slicing anymore. One, one, one. So that's 1, 2, 3. I want to have 5 steps. One, one, one. Got our landing. We're changing the size to 96 because we don't have that doorway to contend with anymore. So our stairs are 96 wide and they're four tiles tall and 4 tiles deep. So we go one, one, two. This on. One, one. And if you were like super speedy, you could probably just duplicate one of these stairs and just go with it. But I'm not super speedy. I'm patient. One, one, one. Also, I know it can be intimidating, but the 2D view is so important. So if you can get used to the idea of keeping an eye on your 2D view at all times, your life will be a lot easier. I think that's 5. Yeah, so the top one just needs to be 6. I apologize. I wish my tutorials were like better and more organized, but I just, I just want to get the ideas out there and hope that people understand them. And you can ask questions if you don't. But yeah, let's just this time we're just gonna do curves on everything. We're just gonna not worry about normals. We're just gonna go straight into it. So we delete all of the corners. Where did my landing go is what I want to know. Ah, I see. I don't want to include that. So this will make a really cool, very wavy, retro looking thing. So we're going to do 8 steps again because we don't want to blow up anyone's computers. We can actually go down to 4. Bridge, we're going to do 4 steps for the bridge. And this will be even better. Using like bigger steps is better when it comes to blending the edges together, which is something I'm really excited about because it kind of combines the things I said earlier about flattening those unwieldy curved sides when it came to getting our window in place. Bridge. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to continue this here, and you'll see we're going to be able to blend this edge into this one. But first, we're just going to do the whole stair. down to our landing. Oop. Landing can get an extra cut too. B, enter, B, B. All right. It's done. B, B. And we're gonna skip the fast texture stuff. We're just gonna snap everything to the grid. We'll worry about getting these tiles perfect later. Right now they're serviceable. You can see some screw ups here and there, but we can grab each one of these lips individually and make it better at the end. Let's give this landing a lip as well. Dun, dun. You can see how fast this can become once you've really done it a few times. All right, so now this is when it gets kind of crazy. So we want to blend these two corners together, and how we're going to do that is first we're going to slice off this, and we're also going to do cut all the way up here. You're going to want to just separate this. We're going to hit Alt-N to separate it, because we're going to be creating n-gons here. We're also going to want to just grab this and slice this off too. Grab this edge, delete it. Bridge these. And now what we're trying to do is we're trying to get this edge to blend down here. The way we're going to do that is we're going to grab this edge. We're going to go to the move tool. We're going to shift and extrude it down. We might need to make our grid smaller. And this is a really cool technique. I'm really excited about it. What we do is we grab this. We go to the scale tool with this selected, with this new edge that we made selected. We're just going to hold Control and flatten it completely, and then match it up with this edge here. We're actually also going to extrude it one more time. So let me just get rid of this face. We just want to bring this all the way down. And if I grab these faces, nothing to worry about, snap to the grid, snap everything to the grid, it's fine. So now we've got this kind of funny shape here. We can grab these faces and delete them, and grab these faces and delete them. And then when we grab this edge here, and grab this edge here, and hit bridge, voila. Then you might say, like, well, what about this edge? Well, it's easy. You just grab this vertice, snap it to this one, snap this one up here. Then you're done. You've got this great little blend shape right here. Isn't that cool? Once again, if we snap our textures to the grid. So this is where it gets a little bit difficult. This is where you're going to really need to use the fast texture tool to essentially turn this entire thing into one tile, essentially. So we just made the grid really small. Grab a tile that looks okay. And that edge is a little bit sharp. We can kind of tease a little bit of smoothness out of it by just pushing this edge a little bit farther out. You could even probably just do some soft edges here, or soft normals. See what that looks like. Makes no difference. But either way, I mean, from any sort of distance, you're not going to notice that little bit of breaking there. And yeah, I think that looks really good. You want to make sure to separate these from, this step should be a separate step from the rest of them, though. So just grab them all and hit Alt-N, and then you don't have to worry about these creating n-gons. That's pretty much it. We've got our cool staircase. What we can do now that's pretty fun is grab all of these, duplicate them up here, set the grid to like 32 so that it's a good height. And then if you select all of these faces, you should be able to just flip them. Then you got a nice roof for your staircase. We're getting pretty close to finished here. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make sure that we have you know, an enclosure for this. So just make a box. It's the right size. Okay, and then we can flip by pressing F. Delete this face. Extrude this face. Or extrude this edge, sorry. And we're just making a little interior to complement our staircase. We're gonna add some lights, because this style just so happens to look really fabulous when you give it some crazy colored lights. I'm just doing some basic mesh editing. Hopefully you know this stuff already. You gotta be careful with these edges, because they're gonna wanna, a lot of times you're gonna wanna like go one higher than you usually would. So like for example, if I bridge these two, because of our little curve, you're actually going to see that edge coming through here, and we don't want that. So I'll just bring this entire edge up like one tile's worth, and then we'll get our little edge back. And I think that's it. You know, if you're really particular, you can grab this edge and hit down so that it matches the curvature of your stairs. Same with this one. probably need to make a cut here first, though. Why bother? Actually, let me just bridge these two. What's nice about everything being on the grid is that even when these meshes run into each other, you're not going to see a whole lot of problems because they're essentially same. They're like the same texture, and the texture's in the exact same spot, so it should be okay. Giving it a little bit of shape. And let's get rid of the bottom faces of this bad boy. Oops. You know what, just for fun, I'm actually going to put a window there at the end of this too. Because that first video was like an hour long and this was like 2 seconds long, so I'm just going to keep deleting these. We're going to plug the end of this here with a little balls as well. I'm actually going to get rid of the skylight just so I can show you how dramatic the lighting looks in these things. So let's just make like a spotlight at the top, point it down the stairs. We're gonna make this like a nice blue. And you can see the way that this light kind of wraps around these soft shapes is so cool looking. I'll put another one at the bottom. Not editing these at all. I'm just kind of placing them, and these don't have any quote-unquote sources yet. Like they're just lights that exist for no reason. I tend to think that these pinks and blues look really nice when they start to blend. So let's get a maybe even deeper blue. And for good measure, I'm gonna drop a point light here. And this one's gonna be, let's see, we got pink, blue. Maybe we should make this like a pale green. Just make it very, very dim. Let's just do 0.1, see how that looks. Yeah, I'd say that looks pretty interesting. I think it could be a darker color though. Let's try. Yeah. So that looks pretty cool. I'm actually just gonna do a quick bake lighting. And I'm gonna just put my, not a bake lighting, I'm gonna preview the lighting. I'm just gonna put my light map player space around this bad boy. Making sure that everything gets in there. Again, the 2D view is really something for this kind of stuff. You can not even think about it. You don't even have to look at your geometry, just know that it's in the right spot. Side. See, we're a little too tall. No big deal. Just squash it in. I think this light could be a little dimmer. We actually have a little bit of a hole here that I didn't notice. That's not a big deal. I think that just comes from this vertex not being perfectly in the grid. Boom, perfect. And that's also going to be down here, so I should make sure to grab that one as well. It's not as noticeable down here because the wall is a little bit more dark. Seem to want to snap into place. Doesn't matter though. It's fine. So I'm just going to do a quick lighting preview. Shouldn't take long since there's so few things going on in this map so far. And we can see what our indirect lighting will look like. You know, it's not perfect, but you know, it looks cool. It's starting to look kind of cool. I think with the indirect lighting, we can actually afford to get rid of that one. So I'm going to return to full bright. And another thing I wanted to show you is that we can actually make curved wall here, just to continue with the aesthetic. So let's say that this wall this curve is going to consist of 8 tiles of width. So we're just going to make a slice here and here. I'm just counting the tiles. Because we have the grid on, we can be very loose and it'll still end up being pretty perfect. So one thing that I like to do, because this makes sure that the viz doesn't get messed up at all. You can actually take these new slices, hit Alt N, and then now these edges are separated, and you can shift click them and bridge them. And so now we've got a nice, since it's bigger, we're going to want to bump it up to like 8 or 16, just because the player will be able to see it better. Snap it to the grid, and now we've got a cool curved hallway right here. And if we want to make this ceiling, hello, I'm just making one more video because I want to teach this specific shape. I think is the most important takeaway from this whole thing. So let's just make a new staircase, and I'll show you how to get that effect. What we're basically doing is we're curving 2 blended shapes into each other to make this like very organic looking architecture feature. So first we're going to start by just building some stairs. I'll build it off of this existing staircase. Excuse me, Gordon. So I'm going to grab this edge. We're going to go up. So for this, you're going to want to extrude in a very specific way. You shift click extrude 1. We're on a grid of 4, so each time we do a movement it's going to be 1 tile. So you extrude the first one, shift click 2 more tiles, shift click 1 more tile. 1 tile, 2 tile, 1 tile. We're not going to go super high with this one. We're just going to make like 3 stairs because it doesn't matter. But just make sure that you're getting that shape. 2 tiles. 1 tile, 2 tiles, 1 tile. right, and then on the last one, we just extrude out without making any slices because that's going to come later. We want our landing to be the same on all sides, so 96, 696. Same thing here, except again on the first step we don't do the same stuff yet. One tile, one tile. So if you see, I skipped this step because we have to start from the top, and we don't want to make any cuts that we're gonna have to undo yet. So let's just do one more step. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, and then we'll just build out the rest of the landing. So 4 plus 4 plus 8 is 16, and we want 96, so we want it to be 80. 80, cool. All right, let's set the 2D view to top so we can see our beautiful staircase in 1 dimension, or 2 dimensions. And so we're gonna start by deleting these little corners here, and then shift clicking these and pressing Alt B. And you should set your increments to 4. You don't need any more than that, especially for when you're blending those corners together. You're gonna find a lot more quads being generated. So Alt B, Alt B, Alt B, and then when we get to our last step, well, first let's fix these textures. So we got these, just grab them all, hit this little align texture to grid button, and you got this nice little wavy effect. We're going to use the slice tool. It's just C and 2 clicks. We're going to keep doing that. Alt B here. Now, in order to get this curve over here, we're going to need to slice this guy separately. This is where it gets kind of tricky because there's like an order of operations here. So we're going to slice these two, and we're going to delete this edge, do the same thing we did before, Alt B, enter, snap that to the grid. And now what we want to do here is make sure that this blends down into here, like this over here. So what's going to happen first is we're going to slice this first tile off all the way up to here. And then we have to slice this guy, cut this face off. Now we've got this nice shape here. So this is when it gets kind of cool. You grab this edge, then you hold Shift, extrude it down. All right, you can go as far as you want, because what we're going to do is we're then going to go to the scaling tool, click on the blue box, and hold Control to completely flatten it out. And if our snapping is on, you'll see that we've got this perfectly aligned spot. And in order to not create n-gons, we're actually going to also delete these 2 tiles. We're going to grab these, and we're going to extrude another edge. And now if I grab these faces, and hit this align to grid, you're going to see we're still able to stay within this aesthetic pretty good. All right, so now all you do is, like before, delete these two faces, grab this edge, Alt-B to bridge them, go to faces, align to the grid, and now we're going to delete these faces, delete those, grab this edge, grab this edge, and bridge those. Look at that. This one is going to be a little bit harder to texture, but that's okay. Now there's a couple ways you can seal this up. The easiest one would be to just grab these individual vertices and pull them into place. As long as your grid is on, you should have like a perfectly straight edge right here. In fact, we'll just take a look at it from the side just to make sure. Go to the side view. I'd say it looks pretty straight. I'd say that's the wrong one. I have to hide this mesh. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So the last part of this look, and again, we need to make sure that this thing right here is a separate mesh. Unless you want to continue these cuts all the way down, or else you're just creating n-gons down here. You can just just grab these faces. I would say just this whole landing as its own mesh would be good. Get rid of that. And then you can see we've got this nice on its own mesh. So the way to fix the textures here, it's not so hard. You just grab the edges that you want, because we did align to grid, which makes it look a little better, but you can see there's kind of a weird split there. So what we want to do is we want to use our fast texture tool, and we're going to use unwrap square, and we're just going to drag it until the vertical lines align. That looks pretty close. Well, I'm wondering if these need to be snapped to the grid as well. So we're going to go back into our fast texture tool. Sometimes you have to hold control and get a little bit more granular. I'm not sure why though. This should just be like fine snapping, but it's not. I don't know why. Looks like that's about as close as we're gonna get. Then you wanna, come on dude, what's wrong with you? I don't wanna squash it until you're got one tile. And it's not perfect, but it's fine. The one that's really important for this is this guy. You just kind of have to think in your head, like, what would a tile do here if you were building this in real life? And I'd say that you probably just want this to be one single tile. Grab a tile and pick whichever setting looks the best. And then when you zoom out, no one's going to see that. It's fine. It's not a big deal. Your tool. That. And we got a pretty nice looking little thing here. You know, if you wanted to add a curve to the corner, can make a wall here, make some slices. Grab these faces, delete them, then just bridge these two edges. Since it's a wall, you probably want to go up to 16 just to get the detail good. Grab those faces, align to the grid, and you got a cool looking wall. That's it. We can just continue down the stairs, just blending these shapes together. Bridge. Oh, so here's an interesting problem. Let's slice this. And then delete these faces. Grab this edge. Oop. So we need this face to be its own thing. So we hit Alt N, this out, and then we can go back to bridging. Go down to 4. Faces, align to grid, etc. And so you just keep doing that down the stairs, and you'll get this nice, fancy spa-looking thing. And I think that especially this little corner technique can be used in a lot of places that aren't just this art style, just to make organic-looking shapes. That's gonna be it. That's 3 whole videos. All right, take care. Thanks for watching. Bye.